We bought our first Eichler in 1956 in Terra Linda, and had one baby by that time and another one on the way. And then after that, we had another one on the way. So I would often meander down to the sales offices. All Eichler homeowners during all those years spent as much time as they could in the model homes because everything was done perfectly. The interiors, most of them, were designed by Matt Kahn, K-A-H-N, who was head of the Department of Design at Stanford for many, many, many years. I met, well, first of all, the salesman was there and had sold us the house, so of course he knew who I was. And he and I would get to chatting, and one day he said to me, well, why don't you would you like to work here on the one day a week that I have off? And I said, well, I don't know how I could with babies everywhere. He said, well, couldn't you get a babysitter just for one day a week? So I started working one day a week. Well, after I worked one day a week for about 6 weeks, I realized I could sell a house each time I'm here. Instead of just sitting here and chatting with people, there's better use. So in those days, it was very easy to get a real estate license, so I contacted the local real estate school and signed up, and in about 2 weeks took the exam, and of course I passed it. It was nothing like it is today. And so the next Friday, I wrote a purchase agreement, unbeknownst to the salesman, and I left it on his desk with a deposit check. Well, he was floored. It wasn't terribly long after that Mr. Eichler said, you know, I think it'd be nice if you had a subdivision. So the first one I had was over at Terra Linda Valley on Golden Hind and Nova Albion, those streets.
What was it like to work for Mr. Eichler?
I just loved working for him. He was a very straightforward person. He was blunt. He was very bright. He completely embodied his concept of Eichler homes, including how the community should integrate, how it was composed of property for schools. There were always provisions made for church sites, recreation. The communities were totally integrated socioeconomically. And now that I've used the word integrate, Mr. Eichler followed an absolute policy of non-discrimination. There was no way that anything would have ever happened in an Eichler subdivision that in any way suggested discrimination. And so it didn't. And so that was a revelation.